Today we've got an all-new, very portable power station. It's called the JuiceGo by BougeRV. Let's open it up. I have a car charger and a USB-C cable, our manual. All right, and here's the unit. It's very small and portable for sure. It's very lightweight. Has this nice little carrying handle here. I do like that a lot. We've got our AC receptacle here. We have a light here. We have our 12-volt cigarette lighter style jack output here. It says it'll do 130 watts. We have our in and out 100 watt USB-C. We have an output USB-C at 30 watts. And then we have a USB-A output at 18 watts. We have a 12 to 32 volt DC input. And then I think we have some kind of display right here. And according to the manual, this has a 240 watt hour battery. It can do 100 watts max on the DC input. So that would be from your car charger or from a solar panel. And it does 150 watts max on the AC inverter output. Let's see if we can power this thing on. Okay, there it is. Now we've got a display here. Oh, look, it's showing us 28% stated charge. We're showing 0 watt, 0 watt. Maybe one of these is an input and an output. All right, I say let's go ahead and hook up some solar to it. We'll use this Gricel 100 watt portable solar panel. Hopefully I have the correct connector to plug this in. I think it's that one. Yeah, that looks like it's it. So you always want to make sure your solar panel is not going to exceed the voltage. So this one is max open circuit voltage of 21.5. And as we see here, we can do up to 32 volts on this, so we're perfectly safe. All right, so I've got the panel hooked up to the JuiceGo, and I'm seeing about 88 watts. I just saw 89 just a little bit ago. And I think I've got it fairly well adjusted out. All right, so we're at about 31% right now. I think I'm gonna take the dog for a walk and we'll let it just charge up for a little bit. All right. I think I've let this set for about 30 minutes, maybe more. I didn't really keep track of the time, but it feels like 30 minutes. And we're at 55% now. Yeah, a 100 watt panel with this thing is a real nice match. If this thing was fully depleted, you're probably talking about 2.5 to 3 hours, depending on what kind of sun situation you've got, to get this thing fully charged. All right, so let's explore some AC charging options. Here I've got your basic phone charger. It's probably not going to charge very fast with that. And then I've got an actual 100 watt USB-C charger. So let's try the phone charger first and see what we'll get. Okay, here we go. And I'm seeing 6 watts. You can charge it on your cheap old basic phone charger, obviously. It's just going to take a real long time. Let's go ahead and try the 100 watt USB-C charger. Yeah, looks like we have topped out at 90 watts. So that's definitely a much better option. Somewhere around 2.5 to 3 hours to fully charge with a 100 watt USB-C charger. Okay, now I want to test the AC output. The manual states it's 150 watts. It doesn't say what kind of wave it is, whether it's a pure sine wave, a modified, or what have you. So let's go ahead and test that and see what it is. Okay, we've got the oscilloscope plugged in. And it looks like we've got, I think, a modified sine wave. Yeah, it definitely looks like a modified sine wave. All right, so let's plug in some AC loads. Let's try this fan. And let's just crank it all the way up to high. All right, start it up, spinning. And showing that we're pulling over 200 watts. Now that's probably what's coming from the battery. Obviously there's going to be some inverter overhead. Let's try my yard tool batteries. Let's see if we can charge that up. All right. Yeah, it's actually charging. It says charging is 56 volt, 2.5 amp hour Ego battery for my yard tools. We're seeing 176 watts, 192. I'm just gonna let that thing sit there and charge. I'll be back. Okay, after some time, the AC output actually shut off, and it gave an error code 61, and in the manual that says high temperature protection for the AC output. So obviously we were pushing it too hard with the yard tool charger. All right, so I got the kilowatt meter hooked up. That way we can actually see how much AC power we're drawing. And right now it's saying we're at 122.6, well, 123 volts AC, 60 hertz. So let's go ahead and plug in the power tool charger again and see how much power we're actually pulling. All right, so we're back to charging, and we are pulling 70, 80, 100, 150, 170. I just saw 180. 185. Yeah, so it looks like somewhere around 170, 180-ish. So yeah, we were definitely overdoing it. This thing says it can handle 150. So yeah, we were pushing it too much. That explains it. So yeah, I really think that the big fan and the yard tool charger, they're just too much of a load for this guy. These are wanting more power, and this thing is only going to supply up to 150 watts. Now that being said, this thing right here, I think it did actually run for 10-15 minutes at well over 150 watts, and it did pretty well. Obviously, like we saw, it did shut down, but that's because we were overdoing it. So I got my laptop plugged into the AC, and we're showing, I don't know, about 24, 26, about 24, 26 watts. And we're showing 33 going out of the unit. So this thing is suited for smaller AC loads, really. You know, charging laptops, smaller devices, nothing too beefy. All right, so what I want to do right now is I want to go ahead and charge this thing all the way back up, and then I want to do a capacity test through the DC cigarette lighter jack port. All right, so we're at 100%, and now we're going to do our usable capacity test. I've got it set to 9 amps, so let's just go ahead and start the test. Looks like we're pulling 110 watts. I'll let that continue, and I'll be back when it's done. All right, guys, the test is complete. We have 222.2 usable watt hours. All right, guys, so I want to test running a couple more devices. I've got my soldering station that I'm going to try to run off the AC. I'm going to try to run this light off the AC side. I've got my tablet and my laptop that I'm going to run off the USB side over here. All right, so let's get started. Let's first test the soldering station here. So we'll go ahead and plug it in. And we'll turn the AC output on. And here we go. Let's turn the soldering station on. All right. There we go. We're ramping up in temperature. All right, so we came up to temperature just fine. It shows we're only pulling 22 watts, 17 watts. So this guy doesn't use a whole lot. Let's crank it all the way up. We went to 60 watts there, and then once it gets up to temperature, it goes down. Yeah, so it looks like it's running the soldering station perfectly fine. All right, so let's move on to running this light. So this is an LED light. Plug it in. Oh, it came right on. There we go. And it's not even flickering or anything. It's very steady. And we're using 14 watts there. So yeah, some light AC loads are perfectly fine on this thing. Just turn the AC output off. And let's try plugging in my laptop to the 100 watt USB out. All right, so now we're ramping up over here, 20 watts, 22. And it says we're charging here. Yeah, so it says we're charging here. Oh look, all right, okay, we've ramped up to 45 watts right here. Yeah, so that's doing great. So while that's doing that, let's plug in my tablet to the USB-A port. Yep, and we're charging. It says we're at 21% on the battery right now, and it'll be an hour and 58 minutes till full. All right, guys, so I think that's going to be it for the video. Let me know what you think about the BougeRV JuiceGo. I'll leave some links in the description, and I'll catch you in the next one.